Hi guys, it's Katie here from Creativa, and I'm here to do another video today using my Broderie SVG files. And if you aren't sure what SVG files are, they are scalable vector graphic files that you can use on cutting machines like Cricut, Silhouette and Brother Scan and Cut. So I use a Cricut, and so any tips or tricks that I give you, I can certainly give you in relation to a Cricut, but I don't know too much about a Silhouette or a Brother Scan and Cut. But I think that, you know, if you're pretty clever with your cutting machine, then you would probably be able to apply the same kinds of tips and tricks. So in the last video, we put together the album itself, which is this little album here. It's 7x7, that's the size it comes in, and of course the beauty of SVG files is that you can scale them up, so you can make this album but make it much bigger if you like. But this is 7x7 and it has a 3-inch spine, so if you were to use the files just as they come and don't change the sizes at all, this is the album that you would be, the size of the album you'd be making. So in the last video we put this little cover together, and we also inserted all the pages. It's a 6-page album and it's very bare at the moment. We just have our 6 pages here, but today I wanted to do the first page in the album, and I always really love to do little doors at the front, on the front page of my album. I don't know why, I just think they look really cute. So I'll show you what files we need to cut out with our cutting machine and the SVG files. So the first thing we need is the C2 base page mat. So I'll go back, I'm sorry, I should say that all of the pieces or elements to the files themselves are in the blue or bluey green, and the mats for each of the pieces are in pink. And I have labelled each of the pieces just to make it easy to refer to. So I have cut out one of the base page mats, C2, and that's this piece here, already cut out. And I have also cut out 6 of these doors, which is H1, 6 of those, and then I've cut out 2 of the H4 mats to go with it. So we're going to do some doors today. So here's the doors as they've been cut out, and they've also, you might not be able to see them, but my Cricut has also also already put the score lines in there for me, so they're all ready to go. So the pieces themselves I've cut out of cardstock, and I am using this Recollections cream cardstock, which is 65 pounds or 176 GSM. And that's what I've used for all the pages, and what I'm going to use for all the pockets and flips and flaps and doors and such. And then for the paper that I'm using, this is actually a digital file that I purchased from Nitwit's Collections. This is their, I'll take it out of this sticky, shiny paper I should say, shiny sleeve. So when I purchase a digital download, I like to print out all of the papers in a wallet size so that I can just refer to them nice and easily. So these are all of those here, and then with the Nitwit's Collections you get lots of little pieces of ephemera, which you can see I've also scaled down to wallet size, just so I can see and by looking what pieces I might want to cut out and use. So I'm using that Nitwit's Collection Always and Forever. And so we have the doors themselves. Now I've cut 6 of those out. There's only 2 there, but I have cut 6 out. And then for the mats, I have cut out, this mat here, I have cut out 2 of these H4s, and I've actually cut it out in vellum. And this vellum I ran through the printer first using one of the digital paper files from Knitwit's collection, so it's got that nice pretty little pattern on it. You could also do transparencies, you know, it's clear so you can see straight through it, but today I thought I might use a piece of vellum. So I've got this vellum and I've cut 2 of those, and that's all we need from the SVG files for today. So I'm going to make a pair of doors. Now I've already made one just to see how it went, and here's my little tester door here. Isn't it cute? So I want to make another one of those with you on screen. So to make this door I used 3 of the doors which I cut out using the Cricut, so that's those 3 there. So I'll just put that mats aside for now, and the first thing that I need to do is on 2 of these I need to cut this little side tab off. So there's the score line just here. I'm just going to cut this little tab off on 2 of those, and I'm going to keep it on 1. So just get out my my little cutting tool. So one of the things about these SVG files is that I have included lots of tabs on everything so that you can use a piece that maybe is a pocket, but if you cut some extra tabs off, it will make it into a flip and vice versa. So that's one of the reasons why I call it a versatile album, or versatile files. So I'm just cutting this off just on this side of the score line, ever just so much, like a little whisker, just so that when I attach them to the one that does have the tab on it still, it won't interfere with how it folds. So that's all the cutting that I have to do. All the measuring's already been done, all the cutting's been done, all the scoring's been done using my cutting machine, which is why I love these little SVG files, because I can just become creative, inventive in ways to use each of the pieces rather than getting bogged down on which is the right, where should I cut it, where should I score it. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach one of these to the back of this one, and that's just to give it a little bit of extra strength. So this is actually 3 pieces, all 3 doors sort of sandwiched together so that it's that extra bit stronger. So I'll start by grabbing some glue, and today I am using, or at the moment I should say, I'll just give it a good shake, I'm using this Helmar's Tiger Grip glue for no other reason than I have it. So I'm going to just give that a little fold so I can see where that score line is, and then I'm going to attach this to the back of that door, so when it folds over like that, it's going to be on this inside. So I'm just going to do that now. So I'm just going to run a bit of glue around the edges. If it comes out, this always happens when you're recording. There we go. That's a lot of glue. I am such a messy crafter. I always tend to use way too much glue. It's pouring out. Oh dear. Never mind. We can correct this with let's see, with my finger. That's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to sort of scrape a little bit off there because there's just way too much that came out of there, and sort of squash it a bit. Okay, so you know, this didn't happen when I made the first door, but because I'm recording it, it just happened on the second one. Right, so now I'm just going to attach this door to this door and make sure that it's pushed right over to this edge here. Line them up nicely. Make sure you can't when you flip it over, you can't see the other door underneath. There's so much glue oozing out, which is not what I wanted at all. But, you know, we'll get along. I just want this bit of glue off here. Okay, I'm just going to press that down. That's not my best work. It's not my finest work. But we'll make do. Okay, that's pretty firmly attached. It should be, given the amount of glue that I just used. Okay, now, I think that'll be okay. It'll all come out in the wash, so to speak. Okay, so that's pretty nice and firmly attached. Now on this one here, you can see that I've rounded the edges. I just thought that made it and that gave it a nice finish. So I'm going to do the same on this one. And on this edge. And then I'm going to do the same on one side of this one here, which is going to be our backing piece, like this one has got it on the back. So when you open the door, it looks nice from the inside as well. Right, so now this is just plain cardstock, but I have given it a little bit of a wood look with a stamp that I have. Now, where's my stamp? I don't know where this stamp came from. I know people on YouTube always tell you where they get stamps from, but I don't know. I've had this stamp for so long. So, here's my wood stamp, and I have an acrylic block to stick it on, like so. I'll probably just stamp it myself. And then I'm just going to use this Tim Holtz Vintage Photo, which is what I've used to ink around the edges of everything. And I'm just going to randomly put a bit on there, and I might even, just going to stick a bit of paper underneath, but I don't know where it's gone. So that's why we have craft mats. I'm just going to randomly stamp it to give it a sort of a wood look, something a bit more interesting than just plain old cardstock. I mean, you could do plain old cardstock, but I just felt like something a bit different. And I'm also going to do the same to this one. The stamp's so old it doesn't want to stick to the acrylic block. I'm just going to stamp randomly on here. Give it a bit of a wood look. Ah, looks good. Right, so I'll just pop that to the side, and my stamp is to the side. So now I'm just going to go around the edges with my distressing tool and just make those edges stand out a little bit more. And just kind of frames your piece a bit more, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to quickly run around and in down here as well if you can. So you could also cut these out of some kind of specialty cardstock, something maybe metallic would be cool, and I should think about that. You could cut it out of even, you know, the like corrugated cardboard or anything like that. The only consideration that you should probably make is that you do need the tab to attach it to the, you do need this tab to attach it to the page, and you don't want that to be out of the fancy cardstock probably. So, but that's okay, that just means that you might keep the tab for the one of the centre pieces rather than the top piece as I've done here. So I'm going to do the same one here. And I like that it's not perfectly stamped and it looks a little bit like a worn wooden door. So it has been a really long time since I have done any recording, and I feel really out of sorts doing it, I do remember last time I did some recording, you do get into a bit of a flow, and I'm certainly not in that flow at the moment. But hopefully by the time we finish this album, I'll be okay. I've got to start somewhere. Okay, so that's that one done. And then all I'm going to do now is take my little mat, which is on the inside there, and I want to make sure that it sort of lines up okay. And I think my door needs to go this way. Right, so now I'm just going to apply a bit of glue around here and stick that on. This time I'm going to use this fabric glue by Helmars, and the reason is I find that vellum doesn't respond very well to super wet glue. It kind of buckles up a bit, so it's best to use something like, oh, it's stuck to me, something like fabric glue that it doesn't make it buckle up. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue along here, and then I'm going to attach my mat down to my door like so, and stick it down. And get glue all over my fingers. It's alright, we can get that off later. So there's my little door, just like that one. Now all I want to do is make this little handle, because my idea was that I make this little tab, which now I can't find. I put it somewhere. We'll find it again in a minute, but I wanted to slide it in between here to hold my doors down. Just another different kind of a closure, if I could ever find it again. I've got so much stuff on my desk that you can't see. Anyway, we'll carry on. So I want to make these put these little eyelets in, and I decided that I wanted to use gold eyelets, and I didn't have any in my stash. So what I've done is I've just coloured these silver eyelets with a bit of gold alcohol ink, and it's worked pretty well. So I'm just going to put a couple of marks here in line with, pretty much in line with these ones here. They're probably not going to be perfect because nothing I do ever is. And then I'm going to put some holes in there, and this is a leather punch. I just prefer it, I don't know why. I can see easier where I'm putting the holes in, so I'm just going to put a hole in here and a hole in here, and hope that they sort of are roughly similar to the ones that are already there. I haven't quite gone through that, there's still a bit of the mat stuck in there. Let's pull that out. Oh, and it's kind of ripped, but that doesn't matter, I'll just pull it off because we're going to cover that up. Okay, so now I have these couple of little eyelets here that I have coloured up with the alcohol ink, and I'm just going to pop those in here and then squash them flat with my crocodile, which is, I really like this, but I'm not very good at it, so you can I haven't had it for very long, so I mean, I think I'm probably even holding it the wrong way around, but I tend to just squash it one way. And oh yeah, that one worked out okay, but then I might just turn it around anyway and squash it the other way because I want to make sure it's super flat. And I always manage to lock it. Okay, that looks good. I wonder if it's in line. It's not bad. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm just going to squash this one in that hole and squash it again with my crocodile that way. and I'm going to flip it over and do it the other way. I'm not sure you're meant to do it like that. I just haven't figured out how to use it properly. Okay, so I'll just pop that back, and then I'm just going to put this little bit of seam binding in here. So I have some seam binding, and I just need a little piece that will basically go from here to here. So I'll just give that a little trim with my scissors. And put the rest away. I'll use that for a tag or something. And then I'm just going to poke this through. I might use my tweezers to help me along there. Through that one, and then also through this one. I didn't even need that much seam binding. And then I'm just going to pop a little touch, she says, ha ha, a little touch of fabric glue here, and a little touch here. And then I'm going to stretch my seam binding out fairly tight and squash it flat. And the same on this side. And then when I think it's pretty stuck, I'm just going to trim off the excess because we don't want all that bulk there. So I'll just lift that bit up and trim it off. And the same on this side. Come on, there we go. Right. And then all that we need to do is attach our last piece of the door to this one to seal it up and make it look nice and neat. So let's have a look at that. Oh, that's pretty good, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so I'm just going to use the fabric glue again because I don't want to make the vellum buckle from any other kind of glue. So I'm just going to run my glue around the edges just like I have already done. Over the seam binding. So it is that seam binding and those eyelets are making it a little bulky there, but I don't think you can really tell too much, and I think the overall effect just is so cute that I don't care if it's a little bulky. I'll run it down there. Right, and then I'm going to pop this one over the top to seal it up. Like that. Line it up. Make sure I'm happy with the way it's lined up. Pretty easy, and then just squash it flat. I'm going to use my bone folder and just give it a really good press, especially around those eyelets. Now you might be able to see that does buckle a little bit along there, but I'm good with that. I don't mind. Now it feels pretty well stuck. So then all we need to do is put those in our album, first page. So let's put those to the side. Look how cute they are. Just to make sure that that bends over and folds down, okay, that tab. And the same on this one. I want it to be nice and crisp. Okay, there's our doors. They just look divine. Okay, let's pop those to the side and bring out our album. And we're going to do this on the first page right here. So all I need to do is attach them as neatly as I can to the album, and I'm just going to put it along this crease line here, like so, and then hopefully this one will fit on the edge as well. In fact, we might do this one first because that just gives us a little leeway. And I still can't find my little tag. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to use my fabric glue again, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue down this tab, and maybe a bit more. I should never say that because I already use way too much. And I'm going to line my little door up here and here. Make sure I'm happy with the way it's lined up. Press it down, make sure it's nicely attached. Flip it open, nice press. And then I'm going to do the same with this one, but on this side I'm going to keep this one closed while I do it so I can make sure that they line up really nicely. Now you could use double-sided tape, and I do often use double-sided tape, but I just find for attaching pieces like this that I just really prefer glue. So I'm going to lay this down here where I think it's going to go. Make sure it lines up and fits on there. Oh, they look so gorgeous. And make sure that they lined up. Excuse my band-aided finger. I tried to cut my finger off when I was cooking dinner the other night. It's not that bad. That doesn't look very nice. Oh, look at those. Don't they look gorgeous? I just think they're so pretty. Alright, I'll make sure this one's pressed down nicely, firmly. I just think this makes such a nice, when as soon as you open it up and you see these cute little doors. Love it. Okay, and then one last thing to do is to put down our mat, which is just going to go like so. Is that the way I want it up? Do you think it even matters? It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to run some glue around on here. And if you've got one of those guns, what are they? ATGs? Is that what it's called? Then that would be great. I don't, so I'm going to have to use glue, but I'm just going to stick that down there. So cute. Okay. So now our doors are attached, our mat's on, and I just made this tiny little tag. I used a little bit of the leftover bit of scrap paper, and I don't know if you can read that, but it says memories, and I just used my foil quill on my Cricut to write that out, and then I just trimmed it out and put a little brad on it and attached a piece of seam binding, and I thought it would be cool, and let's hope this works, to just slide it in here and it would hold those doors shut. Like, yeah, not bad. And I think once the doors are a bit flatter after they've been in there for a while, it will do a better job of holding it. But I just thought it would be something a bit different other than using magnets, which I've done before and which, you know, works really well. But I just think that's so cute. Look at that. Gorgeous. Alright, so that's our first page done, and I love it. I love it. So I hope that you'll come back and join me again and do some more pages in this album using the Broderie SVG files. If you're interested, I will put a link in the description box below to my Etsy store where you can instantly download these SVG files with all these bits and pieces, and make your own album in the same sort of fashion, just using some of my ideas perhaps, or creating some of your own. And so and I hope that you will join me again and like the video and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see some more of this album being made, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for your time. Bye.